Welcome my dear students. In this video, we will discuss about the supremum or boundedness of an arbitrary function. So we have already discussed about the conditions for a set to be bounded in the previous videos. Now, can we extend that onto a functions, in general a real valued functions? So if you define a function f from some set D onto the set R, set of all real numbers, then the image of the set, which is f of D, should be in the set of all real numbers. So in general, it should be a subset of R. In any subset of R, you can define bounded above, bounded below, supremum, infimum, upper bounds and lower bounds. So in using that conditions, you can define the boundedness of a function in general as well. So what we do is, we define a function f from D to R and take the range set. If the range set is bounded above, we call the function to be a bounded above function. If the range set is bounded below, we call the function as bounded below. If the range set is bounded, we call the function as bounded. So the boundedness of functions is not that different from the boundedness of the set itself. Instead, here we consider the boundedness of a function with respect to the boundedness of the range set. So take a function f from D to R. A function f is bounded above if f of D, which is the range set consisting of all the ranges, set of all f of x where x element of D is bounded above. So a function is bounded above if the range set is bounded above. That means there exists a real number b such that f of x should be less than or equal to b for every x element of D. Here the set consisting of the elements f of x. So it should be bounded above means all the f of x where x element of D should be less than or equal to a real number. This real number should be an upper bound of the function. Similarly, the function is bounded below if the range set is bounded below, which means there exists a real number c such that c less than or equal to f of x for every x element of D. And in general, a function is bounded if its range set is both bounded above and bounded below, which means there exists a real number b such that modulus of f of x less than or equal to b for every x element of D. We already know the definition of modulus of f of x, which means minus b less than or equal to f of x less than or equal to b, which means the function is bounded below as well as bounded above. So it has the range set has both the supremum as well as the infimum. So if the range set has both the supremum as well as the infimum, the range set is bounded below as well as bounded above, which means the range set is bounded. If the range set is bounded, we can say that the function itself is bounded. So this is what the definition of a bounded set. Now we move on to some other properties of the supremum in the case of functions. So we have already successfully proved that the ordering of real numbers is somewhat compatible with the supremum properties. Now can we say something about the ordering of functions? So let's say f and g are two real valued functions defined on some set D subset of R. Both f and g are bounded, which means the range set of f and g are bounded. And we are given with a condition f of x less than or equal to g of x for every x element of D. Then suprema of the range set is less than or equal to suprema of the range set of G, or supremum f of x where x element of D is less than or equal to supremum g of x where x element of D. So it states that if f of x is less than or equal to g of x for every x element of D, which means the function f is less than g, then the suprema of f is also less than the suprema of g. So if the function is comparable, then the suprema is also comparable, which is what it means. So how will we prove that? We are given with f of x less than or equal to g of x, then we already know g of x is less than the supremum, its supremum, since supremum is always an upper bound. So we can say that f of x less than or equal to g of x and g of x less than or equal to supremum by comparing f of x less than or equal to supremum of g of D. So supremum g of D is an upper bound of f of x. Now, by comparison of supremum, we can say that suprema of f of x is less than or equal to suprema of g of D. Since f of x is less than or equal to suprema of g of D for every x, suprema of g of D is an upper bound. And we already know suprema of a set is always less than or equal to its upper bound. Here supremum g of D is an upper bound of f of x, and we take the supremum. Then by comparison we can say that suprema of f of D is less than or equal to suprema of g of D, which is what we have to prove. So the argument is that f of x less than or equal to g of x imply that g of x, f of x less than or equal to suprema of g of D, since g of x is always less than its supremum by the definition of supremum. And now we compare f of x with the suprema of g of D, which means that suprema of g of D is an upper bound of f of x. Now compare the suprema of f of x with its upper bound. Suprema of g of D is an upper bound of f of x. So suprema of f of x is less than or equal to suprema of g of D. That is, suprema of f of D less than or equal to suprema of g of D.